Hey everybody, Ben here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. Going to look into an emotion maybe we're feeling and we'd like to get out of it. Try to find a way of what we have to do or think about to remove it. We came up with demanding. So, can look at this as uh, dealing with someone that is demanding, or maybe get into a place that viewing that maybe we're demanding. It's obviously a lot more difficult to see if we're in that position, if we are expecting more out of other individuals. So we'll start with someone else first here. If we're experiencing that, whether romantic, platonic, or in a family unit, and then if we are holding these qualities, we can reflect back on that. So in a romantic relationship, overly demanding, are we looking at that they're trying to change you as a person? Are they uh, is it based on control? Where does this demand come from? If we follow it back to a wound, now demanding sounds like control, which is more like, anger, power hungry individual. But when we actually look back on a wound, what could have happened in childhood or another experience in life that they felt like they had no power? If they felt like they were in a situation that they had no power, that now they have to enforce this power, this type of control over others, does it make them feel better about themselves? That if I keep you small and I'm in charge of you, that it lifts me up, a false facade? Is it that someone overpowered me all of my life and I didn't like that experience? So now I'm going to be big and tough to exert myself to cover up that wound that I've never healed. Now, if we relate that back to us, I mean, maybe that is something we experienced. And that's okay if we recognize it and we want to work on it. If not, we'll stay there and we'll try to cover up that wound for as long as we can. Because inside we're screaming. We feel like we have no control over ourselves, let alone anything that's happening around. We can also look at demanding in a place of anxiety, of fear. If I control everything around me, it makes me feel safe because I don't feel safe inside. It doesn't always have to be with people. If we get scared, if someone's doing something that scares us, that frightens us, that makes us feel like we're gonna, like if I watch somebody that could possibly get hurt on a jungle gym and I control that because I don't feel safe. Um, these demands, sure, if we're experiencing it, oh, we clearly know. We clearly say, this is out of line, this is crazy. Do we need to just fully remove ourselves from this person? Are they aware of their behavior? And do we want to look into the wound and actually try to heal it? Or do we just want to continue to exist in here? Do I deserve this? Where is this demand coming from? Like I said, it's a bit tough. If we're in a toxic situation, we should probably leave. If we've tried to talk about it and it's not being heard, well, we gotta go. If not, and they're just doing it kind of in the way that might be out of that fear wound, uh, anxiety driven, this control, whether with children or partners, family, friends, that I'm scared, and then we can work on that. Same thing if you're in this experience and we're dealing with this and we know that I try to control everything around me because I don't feel safe. The opposite is accepting, whether we are the individual or there is another individual out there. Uh, it's looking at the wound, accepting that wound, that, hey, I was raised in a place that I had no say in anything, I had no control, and it made me feel very weak and powerless, like I had no say in anything. So instead, that's a very small, innocent child at a time, now turned into a bit of a bully, a bit of a power hungry individual that has to extend all their tentacles over everything around them, people, places, and things, to control my way or the highway type of thing, to feel empowered. That is still a very weak place if we think about it, because that is built on a false facade. that false facade is uh, inherent on having the external involved. It's nothing in here. The external has to follow the tentacles' control. If not, there's nothing in here that makes them feel powerful because it's not there. It's dependent on the external's behavior. Of course, uh, rebelling against that in a circumstance would make them angry and more aggressive to gain or regain control. They'd go drastically to ways to grab this because they have nothing in here until we would rebuild something in here to feel safe and worthy and have a say in things without aggression or control. Would it be healed? Same thing with working out of a place of fear. Like we'll use anxiety and we're controlling things around us to make us feel safe. Well, we don't feel safe inside. And we don't trust ourselves or other people to do things because we have to control it in a way that we feel safe. And by them doing that, uh, it brings a sense of safety to us. Accepting that, hey, I don't feel safe in here, it's no different than what we just said about the other style. If that fights back, I feel unsafe. Well, I have to accept the idea that, hey, this is built on a false foundation. I'm trying to control everything here in the external to feel safe, when really, if that wasn't there, I'd feel unsafe. So I need to reflect back on here to say, okay, I have a bit of an issue that I don't feel safe in here. And if everything out there is upsetting that wound, maybe I need to build something in here. So regardless of which side of the token it is, whether it's somebody external and we're experiencing this, maybe we just want to know why. Well, that's why, we can look into all those different avenues. They may not even know why they do these things. Like I said, it doesn't present itself that way. It might be very aggressive and short-tempered, or quick-tempered, I should say. It is explosive at times, and it doesn't come off as a wound of a very fearful, suppressed individual. It comes off as the opposite. That's why we never see that. It's like, oh, go to anger management. Oh, it's got nothing to do with that, you know? Uh, but we can look at it and accept it. If it's us and we are in a place, I don't know if I already said this or where I'm at right now, but if it's us, we can start to look at the wound. I guess where I was going, if it's other people, accepting that, hey, you know, if I'm going to be here, if I'm trying to stay here, and if it's toxic and I'm still trying to fix it and we're not going to get through, we got to go. They're going to hold us back. They're going to hurt us emotionally and other ways possibly. We need to be okay with that and understand. I guess I started, if we wanted to see it for what it was. Sorry, I'm a bit confused here. Things are coming in left and right. Now, if we go back to just ourselves, we can start to see why we're doing things, or the patterns, or the behaviors, and work on that, the wound, and instead the behavior, the emotion begins to change for a freer life. I mean, we'd be liberated at that point. Maybe we can view how our behaviors may have affected others or decisions in general. Ace of Wands, new beginnings. Whether we were uh, involved with someone, people, family, friends, work, romantic partners, leaving this, seeing it for what it is, we will have a new beginning, of course. Same thing if we are in the place that we exhibit these kinds of behaviors. And understanding that, okay, every time I start to do this, I'm like, okay, this is for this wound, I don't feel safe, or I don't feel like I have a voice, and no one listens to me or appreciates my view, or whatever it may be. I can see it now. I'm starting to see the behavior, and I can pause that and start to work on this. I can see this and understand why I might do the things I do. A Justice card. Karma. Oh, we can look at this Everybody wants everybody to get in trouble for their poor behaviors or whatever we're saying. It's an experience for an experience. That's how I say it, and it's personal. It's not. It's not like, yeah, it's personal. That's how I view it. It is a personal thing, and everything is personal when we really think about it. You know, whatever happens when we're driving, how we get upset and we never see that person again, that's personal. I'm carrying that experience. That is personal to me. Same thing with getting in relationships. Sure, we can have the same stories and relate to people on the troubles that we may have experienced or gone through or the struggles in life, but how it felt inside us is personal. That is a personal thing. What hurts me may not hurt someone else. It is very personal, or it may hurt differently or worse or less than. That is very personal. When we start to reflect and heal on things, uh, we can look at it as, uh, say we were doing wrong things. It's just an example. Say we were doing wrong things, and now we've, are healing and things, and we're waiting for the repercussions to come through. Uh, that is that is like this self punishment of this idea that I deserve something horrible to happen to me. If we do, well, then we can manifest those things. I'm not saying that you can do horrible things and there's no rebuttal. What I'm saying is do we really understand the wound and the struggles? Are we actually reflecting on what actually may have taken place? How much have we blocked out that may have created significant pain? There is, uh, it doesn't have to be like in the judicial system. It doesn't have to be losing everything. It can all be in here. And how long have we been carrying that pain? I feel like I'm all over the place. And I'm just going to stop right there. We got two cards here. The Hierophant reversed. Rebellion. Rebelling on, if we are in a space, I have to, I don't know my audience, so I don't know which place we're in. But we're looking at the wound, we're seeing the wound, and we are starting to live life that way. The structure is that we normally experience is people don't heal. People, maybe they don't know how, they don't see it, they don't want to, they don't want to take responsibility, however we want to view that. Uh, Healing and coming through that, I qualify that as a system, that we're leaving that system of not being mindful of this, how all this works, and walking into this new beginning with heavy discernment in this rebirthed, born experience of transformation. If we really think about it, and if no one really works on this kind of stuff, I'll say people do, but the majority of society is probably clueless, oblivious to it. And if we live our whole life working out of this wound, or whatever the wound it is, protecting this wound, and it manifests or appears in a very different form than actually how it hurts inside, when we come out of that, and when we see it or have healed it and transformed, it feels like a very different life, a very newborn person. Uh, Going back to this card, and this really paints this picture of, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble or something. Something's gonna come for me. Was giving that feeling. Ace of Pentacles. Maybe I am talking to a shitty person. Maybe not. I want to say, well, the potential exists. But, well, that's a side note. going back to this and really coming into this new rebirth experience, it holds so much potential. Because when we really look at it, when I was saying about our whole life, we may have been, we'll just say our personality in general. Maybe our personality was a certain way that was this wound, but it was protecting this wound. And when we come out of that, you are transformed. You are a different person. You may look back and not recognize yourself because this whole time you were a wound, or projections were placed on us. Obviously that's how they begin, something along those lines. And we like created a mask to cover it up. Get one more card here, Spirit. So we got the Ten of Cups sideways. Could look at family union and neglected bonds. Viewing this, when we really look back, and it's not so much to place blame sometimes, like we don't know. We don't know. Let's just look at, if we had parents, they had parents, and they did what they did, and a lot of things are passed on behaviors because if we think about it, no one healed, no one moved forward, so everything just kind of gets passed on and passed on. And if we are in that situation, maybe we want this justice to take place, or maybe we are still holding on to a demanding member or relationship, even if it's romantic. That's family too. And it came out sideways. So it's like, do I want to let go of this? Do I not want to let go of this? Is this what I need to be free, to really get to this new beginning? What is still holding you back? If it's giving to you and it's lifting you up and it's fulfilling you, well, then it's a good thing. If it's really knocking you down, demanding of you with no reciprocal energy, we'll say, it's probably not the best situation for us. And we really have to make a choice then. I'm going to leave this here. If this resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, or subscribe, and I will talk to you all later.